Hi everyone, George here. Tonight I hope to talk to you a little bit about cryptocurrency and how it pertains to Canadian taxation. Now, before I proceed, a couple of warnings. This is an intermediate level video. It assumes prior knowledge or some scope of understanding. If you're looking for an easier, basic video, this video is not for you. And before I proceed any further, I would like to let everybody know that the views expressed here are not my employer's. They're nobody else's but my own. This is not investment or tax advice. It's strictly instructional and educational. I do work for UFile, and for part of this video, I will show you or demonstrate to you how to enter a crypto transaction in your tax software. I am in no way encouraging or discouraging investment in crypto. Okay. Now, a few thoughts about crypto, and in particular why I was motivated to do this video. Well, at the time that I've recorded this video, there has been a lot of exuberance about cryptocurrency. In part, it is because it has now attracted the attention of large, well-known investors like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor. Needless to say that Bill Gates is a bit of I would say, perhaps a pessimist about crypto. He kind of warned, and perhaps rightfully so, everyone that, Elon Musk and Michael Saylor, maybe you shouldn't be such a huge proponent of crypto because it is a very volatile investment and you can practically lose your shirt on it because there's wild swings. And, Elon Musk and Michael Saylor, they do have money to spend a lot more than most of us, so they could probably afford this type of very volatile and risky investment, whereas we couldn't, without risking not paying the mortgage or the rent and whatnot. So, very valuable point to keep in mind. The other issues that are always haunting crypto is, will it be accepted? So at the time that I've done this video, so far, I know that you could buy a Tesla with crypto and a few other items, but it's not widely accepted as currency. So you might be viewing those tokens down there, and they're a bit misleading. You can buy these off Amazon. Now, what's the difference between this and this loon, the pirate loot from the dollar store? A couple of dollars. This is not really crypto. There is no hard asset that you can call crypto. It's all virtual. And it's held in wallets. There's a lot of facts to know. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want to focus more on the tax aspect of it. Now, the other thing I've noticed is, like, when I'm doing my research about crypto, and based on what I've heard, when finance experts that have been bitten by the crypto bug are talking, from my perspective, it sounds a bit like a sovereign citizen talking to a policeman about law. There's something that I really find strange, but I just cannot put my finger on it. Excuse the cliche. Now, I also want to reiterate that this investment is very highly volatile. There have been historically a lot of swings towards the up direction and the southern direction. That's important because with money being tight these days, it's something to consider. Now, the other major difference that I've come across between investing and crypto. Or should I say, it's not another major difference, but the major difference that I have perceived, let's say, between crypto and traditional investing. By traditional investments, I mean marketable securities, common shares, exchange traded funds, mutual funds, options, T-bills, bonds, and the like. Investments that you can readily buy from your investment broker that are quite liquid. You can buy and sell them without any hesitation. You do pay a commission, but you get your money almost instantaneously. They're highly liquid. That liquidity doesn't appear to be there for crypto at the moment. But when I listen to pro-crypto finance persons talking, they're basically stating that they're going to make profit on the upside. So they're waiting for market appreciations to make profits. That is the major difference between crypto and traditional investments. With traditional investments, you can make money whether the investment is going up or down. You can make money by correctly predicting the direction of the market. You have the opportunity to make money, profit on the upside and on the downside. Now, who taught me that? Many moons ago, my professor, Tom Velk, was taught the finance, Canadian finance in the banking system. He was the fellow that opened my eyes to this. So with options, for example, you buy a call and you're betting that the underlying security will go up in value and you'll make money that way. If you buy a put, you're betting that the investment will fall. Short selling is another method you can make a profit by betting that the investment will go down. I'm not going to go into more detail about that. You're basically betting that the underlying investment is going to go down. And the caveat about short selling is that the CRA considers that business income, unless you elect to have it as capital gains. And then when you're using the software to record a short sell or a short transaction, you either have to fill out a T2125, or if you elected to treat it as capital gain, you put it on Schedule 3. That's a course in itself. But the important thing to grasp here is with traditional investments is you have the opportunity to make profit in two directions, whereas crypto is unidirectional, as far as I can tell for now. And if I'm wrong, kindly correct me. I'm open to suggestions. All right. Now, the major concern you should have in trading in crypto, but it also applies to traditional investments, is will the CRA, and for those that are in Quebec, or in Quebec, consider my activity business or investment? And as far as I know, Quebec is harmonized with the federal government with respect to this. So basically the same rules apply. And why would I be concerned about this? Because if my activity is deemed to be a capital gain or capital loss, it's only taxable at 50%, the gain and the loss equally, and applicable only against capital gain income, meaning the capital loss is applicable at 50% against capital gain income. You cannot use it against ordinary income. If you're deemed to be conducting a business, you will have a profit, an income, which is taxable at 100%, less expenses and depreciation. Similarly, if you have a loss, that non-capital loss, can be applied against ordinary income, right? Now, capital gains are declared on Schedule 3, Schedule G if you're in Quebec, business income, T2125. How does the government determine whether you have business or a capital gain? I have to give credit where credit is due. I got this case law from a fellow that has another YouTube channel called Friendly Neighborhood Lawyer. I'll try and put a link to his channel in the description of this video. David Rashow versus the Queen. Basically, this client incurred a very substantial loss in one investment, and wanted to claim it as a non-capital loss. The court determined, based on the criteria that I have on the slide, that indeed it was a capital loss, and he was only able to apply 50%, the taxable portion, against capital gains income only. So let's take a look at the elements. Frequency of transaction. If you're in business, your frequency of transactions are high. Shameless plug, I suppose. This is a can of Coke. If I'm in business, I'm interested in selling these as quickly as possible. If a client were to come to me, I would not, at any point in time, unless I had rocks loose in my head, tell them, I can't sell you this Coke now. Come back in 2 days so I can sell it to you for $2 instead of $1. I will sell that item to you at either a profit or break even or a loss in order to maintain having you as a client so you can keep coming back and hopefully sell more products to you at a profit or break even rather than a loss. But if I have to incur a loss at a certain point in time, I may do so just to keep you coming back and keep up my frequency of transactions, and hopefully I'll make up that profit over a period of time. Now, the duration of the holdings. We've all heard of flippers. Well, supermarkets and any other brick and mortar store is in the same position. They have an inventory and they want to flip that over as quickly as possible. They do not hold on to any assets that are meant to be sold for a very long period of time. Their motive is sell as much as we can and make a profit. People that flip cars, they buy a car, they want to sell it and they fix it up and sell it as quickly as possible. People that flip homes, same thing. Fix as quickly as possible, sell a profit exceeding the cost of bettering the asset. The nature and quantity of the securities held. If it's a perishable item, I'll give you another example, an apple. People don't hold on to apples for appreciation. They want to sell it again while it's fresh. If it loses its freshness, they might reduce the price so they can sell again. The time spent on the activity. Most people that are investing with a business mindset are spending 30, 40, 60 hours a week in front of their computers, making their research, doing plans, and selling as frequently as possible, right? It's not a buy and hold. It's not, well, I'm going to buy the security. I'm betting that in 3 months or 6 months or a year from now, it's going to go in this direction. Therefore, I have to do this transaction, and I'll wait until the chicken hatches the egg, and I'll be happy. People in business are trying to do this activity on a daily basis. By financing, again, most successful businesses use a portion of their funds. They leverage and they borrow in order to ensure that they're taking advantage, a full advantage of their business activity. Particular knowledge held by the investor. The more knowledge you have, the more likely you are you're a businessman. So let's take the business of flipping homes. That too, the person has knowledge in how to repair it, how to sell it, and where to go to sell it. It's as simple as that. Flipping automobiles. I have never seen a flipper in automobiles that doesn't have some basic knowledge in mechanics or auto body, or where to find that individual and where to find a likely customer. Do they hold on to the car for any particular length of time? Nope, they try to sell it as quickly as possible. I hope that's clear. Now, how do I acquire cryptocurrencies and avoid Canadian tax? Again, I've seen on the internet all sorts of harebrained ideas. People suggesting that legitimate U.S. citizens give up their citizenship and gain citizenship abroad in order to invest in crypto. On the U.S. side of things, I'm afraid I cannot go into much detail, but on the Canadian side, we're fortunate enough now to have crypto ETFs. So a crypto exchange traded fund that you can readily buy from a broker. That exchange traded fund, you should perhaps consult with your investment advisor and see if you can hold it in an RSP or a TFSA. Now, another caveat is that if you're going to buy that ETF and buy it with the intention of buying and selling frequently and fitting all the criteria we spoke about in the last slide, just because it's an RSP or a TFSA does not mean the CRA will not challenge you, right? So if you're buying and holding for long-term appreciation and over time it does appreciate in your TFSA or RSP, that capital gain will not be taxable, right? It'll be tax-free, but so will the tax loss, if any, right? So the name of the game is be prudent. Now, how would I enter this in UFile? Let's say, how would I enter a taxable cryptocurrency transaction that is deemed to be a capital gain in UFile? I'm not making any promises, but I may show you at a later time how to do that in terms of business income. That is a major topic that I cannot cover in the short period of time that I have now. I'll consider doing one. All right, so basic transaction, capital gains only, taxable in UFile. So let's turn to our UFile program. And here I have Mr. Sparky Trudel, right? He lives in Quebec because I wanna, pardon the expression, kill two birds with one stone. He's a young man, relatively to me. You can see the snow on the roof. Here he is as Quebec resident. He answers the CRA questions. These are literally questions that are provided to us by the CRA that are mandatory for you to answer. Okay? And then, well, that's basic info, sorry. Here are the CRA questions. Now, foreign property with a cost over 100,000, this may be true for a person that is holding crypto because crypto is not considered Canadian source. Okay? So you may have to divulge this information even though you don't have any transactions answering yes to the T1135. Okay? Now, it's important to mention Revenue Quebec because new for this year, as you can see the flag, did you receive virtual currency? They want to know yes or no. Now, I have a little bit of problem by the fact that they call it virtual currency. Because with currency, it means you could actually use that asset to buy goods and services. And so far, the goods and services you can buy with crypto are very limited. So is it a currency? Or is it a commodity? But in this case, you want to be an honest taxpayer and say, yes, I did have crypto. Okay. And in Quebec, we have our drug insurance plan. This taxpayer has a T4. Okay. He's earning a nice amount of money, right? And now, how do I enter the capital gain transaction? All right. So at the interview setup, you're gonna check capital gains. Great. Come on. Capital gains or losses and capital gain history. Great. Okay. Now go to the capital gains window. And here we have virtual transactions, which is new for 2020. Okay, so let's say it was good old Bitcoin. Number of units, let's say it was 50,000. Date of acquisition. What's important is the date of disposition. The date of acquisition could have been over a long period of time where you bought chunks and chunks and chunks that accumulated over time, and then you did a sale in 2020. Let's say 16th of June, 2020. All right. Method of alienation, counter, platform, or peer-to-peer. Let's say it was platform. Total proceeds, 125,000. And let's say adjusted cost base was 50,000. And they took a little bit of a fee off of you. There you go. Now notice I said yes to the question about holding foreign property. UFile will not let me calculate the return without and completing that section. So here, go to foreign income property, T1135, own foreign property with a total cost of over 100,000. And select the method of reporting. You can say simplified, and then complete the T11, yes. Complete the T1135 foreign income verification statement, not an amended return. Select the individual coin, code, taxpayer and spouse are not self-employed. Funds held outside Canada, perhaps let's say that is true. Country code, you could put Canada if your wallet is in Canada. We should have Canada here. Just for the sake of this example, we'll put United States. Income, there was none. You can put 0. I'll retain the 0. Foreign income loss or gain. All right, so we had 125,000. 5,000 was our fees. So that leaves us with 70K. There you go. Next. Now let's review the tax return for messages. Notice that UFile reminds you to claim any office and home expenses due to COVID as a tip, which is very valuable. Your T1135 statement has to be mailed or electronically submitted separately from your income tax return. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot show you how to do that because I would have to actually send the return to Revenue Canada, and that's a no-no. Sparky Trudell does not exist. He's fictional. Let's take a look at that. Let's say accept. And I'll show you the transaction as it appears on Schedule 3 and on Schedule G. And this, my fellow viewers, will be the conclusion of our video. So here it is, under bonds, debentures, promissory notes, and other similar properties, and it will be taxable at 50%, which is $35,000. Similarly, in Quebec, Schedule G has its very own section dedicated to virtual currency transactions. So the government now knows that this exists, and they're looking for people to be honest about it. Now, currency exchanges do not ask for social insurance numbers. The other important premise of crypto is that it's supposed to be secret. In fact, crypto in Greek, the Greek word is krypto, means something clandestine. That's the other cult element of crypto, is that nobody's supposed to know that you are the owner of these coins, and it's supposed to be completely anonymous. Well, now the CRA and Revenue Quebec are aware that this exists, and they want to tax you on it. And beware, Al Capone is an American example, but an example nonetheless where the major crime he did time for was tax evasion. So we should all be honest citizens and declare our income. Yeah. So that's it. This is where you'd go to net value return and click on the buttons. I won't do that. The other thing I want to mention is some people have been asking me for support because their notice of assessment doesn't match the return. Guys, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've seen errors occur everywhere. Accountants, lawyers, CRA, taxpayers, accountants, and software. Nothing is perfect. However, I want to let you know that we do have an anonymous way to get support directly from UFile. So first of all, always be sure to check for updates. Register your software to get support, okay? And the support assistant under help, okay, will allow you, if you follow the steps, to get support from our support team. It allows you to send an anonymous extract of your file. This is where you fill out the form and submit the request. Be as brief and detailed as possible. Select one of the categories, right? If the support agent needs a copy of your notice of assessment, they'll provide you with an email address where you can send it. So this is a good and legitimate way of getting support. Now, you might not hear from us right away. You can imagine they're inundated with work, but I can tell you for a fact, there's no issue that is overlooked with UFile. We care to continuously improve the product, and I promise you, as long as I'm there, that's my number one goal. With that, I bid you farewell until we see each other again, and thank you for viewing and supporting my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Take care, guys.